Hey, what's up folks, how's it going? This is Waj. Hope you guys are all doing well. Now for the longest time I've been trying to have a dedicated racing simulator setup in the house, but like many of you, I don't have all the space in the world, and certainly a full-size racing sim is definitely going to take up a lot of space. Now in order to combat this issue of space and versatility, Next Level Racing created this, the FGT Lite. Now this is essentially a foldable cockpit design that has an integrated seat, universal mounting points for a dedicated shifter, racing wheel, and pedals. Now the cockpit can be adjusted via 4 different points. You have 8 individual rotating hubs that have quick release features, allowing you to adjust the angle and positioning of the seat according to your liking. The unique factor about these hubs is that you can set up the racing seat in either a more traditional GT upright position or in a more hunkered down formula style position, which is closer to the ground. Now probably the biggest benefit definitely has to be the fact that you can fold up the entire cockpit to about 1/3 of its original size with all this adjustability, allowing you to not be burdened by a huge thing occupying your living room space. You can stow away the entire racing sim setup in a closet or in a corner somewhere, and when you do want to use the cockpit, it's fairly easy to retrieve it, unfold it back into its original position, and start racing. Now the overall ergonomics and build quality of the racing seat is fairly good. It can support up to 330 pounds, 150 kilograms. The build material is very durable, hypoallergenic. The seat itself is tall and wide. There's plenty of pedal adjustability for pretty much every type of body anthropometry out there, from tall, small, light to heavy. In terms of getting in and out of the cockpit, it's always going to be a little ungraceful for the most part. However, there is a latch opening the entire wheel bar assembly on the right hand side, allowing you to get in and out fairly easily. For the time being, I'm not using this opening because I have the wires routed through that latch just based on my current setup, so I'm kind of hopping in and out fairly awkwardly on the left hand side, which is definitely a little cumbersome, but I'm getting used to it. Now obviously the cockpit does not come with any racing hardware, but courtesy of Thrustmaster, we're using the T150 Pro. This wheel has been around for many years. It's compatible with Ps4, Ps3 and Pc, and we're also using the 3-pedal Thrustmaster T3PA pedal combination in conjunction with the TH8A gated 7-speed shifter, also from Thrustmaster. Now the overall performance of the T150 Pro wheel is actually very good. It feels very similar to the T300 RS that we had a couple of years back. The force feedback system uses a mixture of belt pulleys, gears, as well as a metal ball bearing axle. The overall feeling is very powerful and fairly accurate. In combination with the all-metal clutch brake accelerator pedal set, this is definitely excellent value for around $250 to $300. Now I had no issues in terms of mounting all this hardware to the racing cockpit itself. The shifter is a little bit flimsy, but you can definitely get it tight enough where it's fairly secure and not going to need too much adjusting once you find the right position for it. Now the only complaints that I have with the cockpit itself is the fact that it is a little bit tricky to assemble when you first get it out of the box. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes based on my experience, and some of the pieces are so tight fitting that you're going to need a rubber mallet to fully insert them all the way in. But once that they're in, they're definitely not going to fall apart or get loose over time, which is probably more important than anything else. Furthermore, I do have to address the issue of the comfort aspect of the integrated seat, which is primarily made out of this breathable mesh material. Now there are some foam inserts on the lumbar section of the seat, which does provide a little bit of extra comfort and support, but based on my experience thus far, past an hour's of usage, this seat definitely gets a little bit uncomfortable, hard at times, and you're going to need to sit up and take a break. So if you do a lot of endurance racing or just general prolonged gaming sessions, you might have some issues with the seat regarding comfortability, and it's definitely not going to be as good, as supportive as a professional level racing sim seat that you find out there. Definitely not going to be as good as a full-on Sparko seat or something like that, and certainly this unit's biggest compromise based on my experience. The other important thing to know about this seat is that due to its price point and overall form factor, it's definitely designed for the more beginner, novice, and budget-oriented racer. Certainly not going to have some of the advanced options as higher-end racing rigs out there, so no direct wheel drive support. You're going to be limited to more kind of consumer style wheels as you would imagine. Logitech G29, some of the Thrustmaster stuff that we have here, and the budget oriented Fanatec stuff. There is no support for a direct drive wheel, no mounting points for platforms that simulate traction and 3D motion as you would imagine. There are obviously points that you can mount things like a butt kicker to enhance the force feedback experience, but that's pretty much where the expandability options of this thing kind of end. Now, besides those limitations, I definitely think from a value aspect of things, the FGT Lite is definitely worth it. At under $300 is one of the most competitively priced racing cockpit simulators that you can get, and with that versatility factor of being fully foldable, where you can get it out of the way and not occupy the space, because pretty much everybody out there has limitations in terms of space concerns. Not to mention that you can utilize both Formula and GT driving positions is really neat, and the fact it's pretty much universally compatible with most of the popular racing hardware that you're going to find out there from Logitech, Thrustmaster, and Fanatec. Other than that, that's really it. Definitely love to hear your thoughts. I want to give a huge thank you to Thrustmaster and Next Level Racing for making this content possible, and an even bigger thank you to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. Please make sure you have post notifications turned on, and if you check out the description down below, you'll find details about everything we talked about. Thanks again for watching. See you later. Take care.